Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little air purifier test because I have two purifiers that I've been using for a long time. And then I got this new one called a Silent Night, and I was really impressed by the way it works. So what we've got here is a little Dylos third-party air quality monitor. So this thing just monitors the particulate in the air, or the bacteria, virus, and mold in the air. So particulates that are pretty big, like dander, dust, things like that, or the really small stuff. So you can see on here we have an air quality chart. So 1,000 very poor, 350 to 1,000 poor, 100 to 350 fair. And then when we get down into the 50 to 100 good, 25 to 50 very good, 0 to 25 excellent. So when we look at the air in this room right now, so this thing's sucking air in the back and then giving us a report. So the air in this room right now, with no purifiers on, is giving us times 100 particles per cubic foot, 41. So that's right now 31. It kind of fluctuates because the air in the room is moving. Right here we've got, say it's at 30, right? That's 30 times 100. And that would be the 5.0 microns, which is dust, dander, things like that. Then the 1.0 microns, that's really small, where we're at like a 235 times 100. That would be mold, bacteria, viruses, things like that. So that's just what's going on in the room. I'll move it around a little bit, see if anything changes. So the air quality in this room right now is pretty decent. This is like at a 180, 200. It's crazy how much it changes too as you watch it. This one's maintaining like around a 30, a 33. I'm just gonna go here, see if anything changes. 250, 35, kind of in there. So that's what we're dealing with the ambient air in the room. Now, unfortunately, I've had these air purifiers running in here a little bit. When I first turned this on, this was like in the 500s, and then the other one was 60, 70, something like that. So we've already cleaned the air a little bit. Now I'm going to go to my Austin Air HealthMate, which, as far as I've known, as far as a HEPA filter, is kind of the industry standard, and it's a really good one, and this is what I use in my room. Now I dust a lot because I don't like dust, but I just went around the little brim of this because I wanted it to look pretty for the video, and look how freaking disgusting. This is what's in the air, just that's falling, you know, from old paint that's disintegrating, dust in the air, human skin, pet dander, gross stuff like that, and just the smog from LA air that gets indoors. Now we're hoping that the big stuff doesn't come through this filter and end up back in the room. This was just on this little edge here. It would be on the top. That's how gross the air is. So let's see what happens then in front of the Austin Air. I have to find kind of the sweet spot here. So we're dipping down. The big stuff, we're down to 13. That's getting pretty good. 121, 136. You can move it around a little bit and kind of see where we end up. But that's taking out a decent amount of the big stuff. So we're at 1,600 particles per cubic foot. 161 on the mold, bacteria, viruses, which this thing doesn't take out. It just cleans the air in a general way. Let me see what happens when I get a little bit closer. So the lowest we're getting here is like 130 and 25 on the Austin Air, which is still pretty good air quality, but not as good as it could be. Now let's move over to the Living Air ozone generator. This produces negative ions, and this I just use to freshen up the air in the house. I don't actually keep this on while I'm in the house for very long. I'll turn it on, open the doors and windows, just kind of recirculate. This is giving us, let me see if I can see. Yeah, so this is going up considerably. What are these numbers, David? I can't see upside down.
235 and 36, but it was jumping to like 500.
Right, I think that was just the airflow.
Yeah. Now it's 165, 160.
Okay.
13,
so
11.
This is doing a decent job, but still not as clean as it could be. Now let's move over to the silent night, which is really cool because if you put it on the lowest setting, let me turn this thing off. So that's high. This on the lowest setting really is silent. Listen. If you put it on high, you hear a little bit of noise. But comparatively, that's how loud that one is. The Austin Air on low, that's low, medium, high. Now I sleep with this thing on high in my room because I actually want that much noise. But if I'm like working at my computer, I don't want a big ass fan like, so that's why I really like the silent night. So let me turn that on 1. I'm going to turn the Dylos air quality monitor back on. Let's just test the ambient air in the room again. So we're at 250 or so on mold, virus, bacteria, and in the 30s on the bigger particles. And then let's watch what happens when we get it down in front of this baby. You can watch these numbers drop. This shit is crazy. As you can see, this is the lowest we've gotten. So we're getting down to basically, well, not basically, we're getting down to 0. So that means all mold, all bacteria, all viruses, including the flu virus. They just did a study using the silent night, kills flu virus. This is getting down into negligible numbers. Let's see if I move it around a little bit, if it changes. Yeah, this is like pretty much non-existent particulate coming through the other side of this. And if we look back at our air quality numbers, what we're getting in the room here is between 100 and 350, which is just fair. That's just the room as is. And that's what we're getting kind of from the other 2 purifiers. This one we're getting down 0 to 25. Excellent. So we'll go back again. Really, really low numbers. Yeah, we're getting down to 0 again here. Now let me go back to the ambient air in the room. Give this a little circulation. All right, you can see those numbers climb. Now we're back up 180, 200. This guy's going back up into 30. Now remember, if this says 30, that's 3,000 particles per cubic foot. So imagine how big your cubic foot is. That's 3,000 particles of dust, pet dander, human dander, etc. And then we're sitting at like around 200 in the smaller 1.0 microns, which is mold, virus, bacteria, etc. Fungi. So we're going to take that. Right now we're at, say, 200 and on there, and then 30 on here. Let's go back in front of the silent air. See what happens here. Yeah, we're getting back down into single digits on the big particles. There we go, 0. And now single digits on everything. We've zeroed out, which means this is 100% clean air. And that is going to recirculate in the room. And I forget the exact stats on this, but in a room this size, like your average bedroom, I think it's like the air gets cleaned X amount of times per hour. I think it's 2 or 3 times an hour. The whole room gets recirculated. So that's what I found on the air purification, and that's what I'm doing to not breathe this stuff at night. Close up zoom on that. As I said, that just came off of the edge of the air purifier, which I clean my room, I dust all the time, and that's just like ambient dust that was in the little crevices of this thing. And that's what we're breathing into our lungs, especially in the city. So this is going to be the win so far. This is the silent night. I've got this, I think, so far on my website. It should be up there by now. And then I still like these for other purposes, like for the white noise, and I like to get the ozone in the room here and there, but it doesn't really they don't serve the purpose of really cleaning the air, which is what this does. So you definitely want to get one of these in your bedroom. At night, if nothing else, you want to have the air clean while you're sleeping. All right, so that's it. That's our test today. Later days. See you guys soon.